Christmas is Sunday, New Year's is Sunday, and so her wife is good enough to take over both of us.
Yeah, the first time I played with her was
and he might do that this year. I told him, he's got to do whatever, it's his services.
Yeah.
He might talk to them. He was just another place.
Touch it. They didn't touch the jeans.
When you go, it's understood. This,
Check. Yeah, we're good. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Ahiah. My name is Chris Glick. I'm a spiritual practitioner here at Ahiah. And this morning I'm going to lead you into a meditation. And it is a healing meditation. And right now, just wherever you are, you can just lean back into the seat that you're in. If you're on your way somewhere, you can mindfully tune in and be aware of all that is around. And right now in this space, it is so nice and bright. The sun, along with the electric energy, is providing showing the way for the eyes and the ears and the other senses to be right here in this precious moment. For this moment is the moment that you are aware as you maybe gently close your eyes and allow everything just to be. You're aware of words coming and going. You're aware of the activity of life. Breathe it in. For that energy of life that you're breathing in can be pictured as a tapestry. Filled, bursting, flowing with all the colors, the sounds, of the frequencies vibrating the body electric. You feel now some sense of aliveness as you breathe. Now take charge of your breath by consciously breathing in deep, fulfilling breath. Feeling it fill the cavities of your body temple, allowing it to recede consciously. As it recedes, you are ready to breathe in that next breath, and you just do it. And as you breathe in, hold that breath a little, and then let it out. Allow the tapestry, the colors, the vibrations of the sounds, the light, just to fill that breath as the image of what you are breathing in, what you are becoming as you breathe. Your cells, all like little babies, just hungry for that love that you are bringing in to that body temple. As you breathe and you feel that breath extending to all the cells in your body, knowing that they are about to receive life. Like the little sapling that suddenly arises from the ground. It wasn't there, but now it is. That breath has infused that little sapling with all the life that it is, that it has ever been, and that it is to be all there in that little sapling, just like that little seed that's planted each time you allow that breath. It's not one seed, it's billions. Imagine that. Billions of seeds you plant as you breathe each breath in, allowing each cell to receive that love. As you breathe, as you feel vibrationally the frequencies of the vibrations, and seeing them as the colors that are you, that are the threads of the tapestry of your life. Yes, it's all there as you breathe in that breath. And the little saplings grow, each of your cells, vibrant, like this pistil on a flower, vibrant, waiting for that sun just to transform that little pistol into its yet to be, finally allowing some seeds to drop. And that's just like what happens in each breath. You can feel it as you breathe in. Gently take your hand, put it somewhere around your heart area. Allow yourself to experience. You feel warm right there. That warmth is that energy manifesting from the breath, filling each cell with the life and love you have allowed in and you have agreed to share. And as you share this, that little heat area just starts to heat up even more. And you can take that area and you can just think of it like a ball of cosmic fire that does not burn, does not freeze, yet feels cool to the touch and wonderfully warm. And you can take that energy that you have just allowed released in yourself. You can move that energy around to that area in your body that may be experiencing something making you a little uncomfortable. You can move that ball of cosmic fire and just allow that and breathe as you do. And as you do this, that connects with the divine energy that we all are. It does not fail. When it starts to feel hot, it's time to move on. Maybe you've made yourself feel better just briefly. Maybe that right there is where you want to be, feeling good. Breathing that love that is just there for you. So all you do is you just say, yes, I love you. And if you feel, I would like to say that again, all of us together, we can say, I love you. Say that with me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Some may feel the tears come. Some may feel extreme goodness. These are expressions of divine God energy present as we allow ourselves to be aware as we breathe. And I thank you for this time of bringing forth the healing power of each one of us as divine beings doing what it is that we ought to do. Love one another. God bless you. The meditation is now over. As you gently open your eyes and go into the presence of the room, take your time and just look around at the tapestry of color. Feel the tapestry of sound. And in this presence, we just know that the service today is going to be exemplary and wonderful. And thank you for being here. God bless you. Namaste.
Wasn't that nice? That was Chris Glick tickling the keys over here. Let's give Chris a round of love. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yes, and also Leon Johnson on the bass, accompanying him. And holding down the rhythm in the corner, Brian Menifee, our percussions, and bringing in that heavenly beat. Yes, indeed. And welcome to live streaming and live service at the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Loving and Living. That's right. We have been experiencing some loving here this morning. And there's more on the way, because guess what? Today is Family Fun Fest and Festival. Festivities. Our young people are out in the courtyard setting up the picnic. And if you are at home watching this in your PJ Yamas, I would suggest that you put on some clothes. Just throw them on over your PJs. That'll be your costume today. And you can come on out and hang out with us today, because we are guaranteed to have some fun. And our musical inspiration, the world's only rapping harpist, is Jessica Brizuela. Let's give Jessica some love. Oh boy, we are just in for so much today. Our theme this month is tending our tree of life. And that is complementing our annual prosperity campaign, which just started last week. And the tree of life, the wisdom talk is cultivating our tree of life, reminding us that each one of us has roots deep down into this well of prosperity, and that the leaves and branches and the fruit that we give forth is, the love that we share with the planet. And with this teaching, being committed to a world that works for everyone with no one left out. So we're going to have some fun today. Reverend Scott is going to be delivering our wisdom talk, and I'm sure he's got a surprise, fun interview set up for you today to enjoy. And we just want to acknowledge Sir Frederick in the sound booth. He is managing those electrons so that there's sound coming out of the mic. Thank you, Sir Frederick. We appreciate you. And of course, in the back of the sanctuary, he slices, he dices. He's our technical manager, our stage manager, managing Facebook streaming and all of those electrons. It's Harris. Let's give Harris some love. Yes. And our practitioner today is Chris Glick, musical director. He's licensed practitioner, and he'll be doing the invocation and reading for today. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Wonderful meditation, too. Thank you. So with that, I think we are ready to go, because there's food waiting out there, so we don't want to be dilly-dallying around, do we? So welcome to anyone who's watching us at home, and just a reminder that we've got a seat with your name on it. You can come down here and get it anytime you want it. So let's listen in to our inspirational video today, created by Gabriel. And Reverend Scott, take it away.
Everything love. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel, for making the video, but this is a pop quiz. Who recognizes the vocalist? Allison Lewis, absolutely. And who recognizes that bass playing back there? That would have been Leon, and the drums were Brian, and the piano was Chris. And you know, I was listening to that last night as I was getting ready for the slideshow, and I was like, I didn't recognize the singer at the beginning, and I was like, this is so professional, you know, I'm like, and it really is. It sounds like it was done in a studio. It does. All right, well, anyway, we'll move on, but I'd like to go ahead and ask Chris Glick to come on up. He's our practitioner of the day, and he's going to do our reading and our invocation. He wears many hats here, you know, practitioner, music director, all sorts of good stuff for us.
I love the little dancers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good morning, Ahiah. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad to be here with you. And today, before I do the reading, I just want to say something, and I think you can all relate to this and hopefully understand. Certainty, we know that word, right? And faith, we know that word. So what about we think about these two words together as being somehow connected on a line where certainty is the manifestation of faith. Certainty is the manifestation of faith. Going forth, I chose to read a passage from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. And in relating to right now, our campaign and prosperity, where we have mindful meetings every week, where we prepare for the prosperity that we are creating even now. And Eric Butterworth says this: the word prosperity comes from the Latin root, which literally translates, quote, according to hope, or, quotes, to go forward hopefully. Thus, it is not so much a condition in life as it is an attitude towards life. The truly prosperous person is what psychologist Rollo May calls the fully functioning person. One who is experiencing what Jesus called the life more abundant. I say, prosperity is a way of living and thinking, and not just money or things. Poverty is a way of living and thinking, not just lack of money or things. So, you know, I said the thing about being on a line. You can have a line where poverty is on one end, prosperity is on the other. And all you really have to do is choose to be there in the middle, present, where you are. And you are on that line of prosperity, therefore you are prosperous. Considered in the broadest sense, prosperity is spiritual well-being. This involves the whole experience of healing life, satisfying love, abiding peace, and harmony, as well as a sufficiency of what Aristotle called the furniture of fortune. Too often, the tendency is for teacher and student to become so preoccupied with the demonstration of jobs and bank accounts as to forget that person is a whole creature in a whole universe. While in this work, we are focusing on spiritual economics. We are forever conscious of a backdrop of spiritual ecology, the truth that sets us free from all the problems of human experience. It is consciousness that sets all the limits in life, if there are any limits. We have been erroneously conditioned to believe that our lives are completely shaped by what happens around us and to us. But life is lived from within out. It is not what happens out there, but what we do or think about what happens. Finally, the starting point in realizing prosperity is to accept responsibility for your own thoughts, thus taking charge of your life. You are not responsible for what is said in the Wall Street Journal or what comes out of Washington in the form of economic indicators. But, okay, you are very much responsible for what you think about these things. Yes, and so it is. And for the invocation today, I want to just welcome each and every person who's here, each and every person online who's watching us. I want to welcome each and every one into my heart. My heart is open. God is my heart. I am speaking because my heart is allowing me to speak. It's not me speaking. It's something that is speaking through me, using my voice, all of those things that I am. But more than all of that, the thing that I am as God is. I know this. My faith in this manifests in certainty of knowing that God is all there is. Therefore, I can only be that which God is. Therefore, each person who hears this, who is present, aware, has to know that God is all. And yet, if you are one with God and I'm one with God, that means that we are all the same. We are connected. We are one with this presence. And I give thanks for this. I give thanks for the musicians. I give thanks for the soloist. I give thanks for the ministers. I give thanks for the ushers. I give thanks for the children. Thanks for the children. And I give thanks for the energy that we are today in this place, being as God, as God's children, as God's parents, grandparents. We're it, people. This is it. We are one. I honor that by just once again being grateful for this. And I release this word to the law, knowing that it is manifest as I speak these words, and the smiles in the people that I see. You can't tell me that God's not here. God's everywhere. So, folks, we just say right now together, and so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So it's good to hear Eric Butterworth. You know, he is one of those guys who tells you the very true principles. And it's good to hear that every once in a while to remind ourselves of how to take those principles and then apply them in our lives. And that's what we're here about, especially during this time of tending our Tree of Life, this prosperity program that we're doing this year. So I'd like to ask Jessica Brizuela to come up, and while she's coming up, why don't you just say hi to the folks that are around you? You know, we don't have to hug or anything, but unless you want to, but just wave to the folks. And I'm going to wave to the folks that are online right now. And maybe if you're on Zoom, you can wave to the people in your magic squares there. It's already lit. Yeah, I lit the peace candle early. I learned that these things actually need to be lit for like 4 hours. Yeah, because it's beeswax. So anyway, things you learn in ministry. So we've got Jessica Brizuela here today. You know, she was one of the first ones to sing when I first came here at Ahiah 4 years ago, and I'm so happy to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. Ahiah. It's good to be back. Hey. Well, I wanted to start with this first song here that ties in with this theme too of our thoughts and planting and growing what our thoughts are. And I was doing a master's in teaching with the emphasis on social justice. And we had this assignment, an autoethnography assignment, where we had to talk about a time we were marginalized or disenfranchised. But part of me felt a little bit like, oh, it feels like going backwards a little bit, going back to that place, kind of like a victimized, like this happened to me. But at the same time, I was taking a class here of building a healing consciousness. And so it helped to go back there and just see all the beautiful things that happened from there. So I took this song called Sojourner by J. Cole and Rhapsody, and I just created my own verses to it that also talks about kind of where I come from. Both my parents are from El Salvador, call them Guanacos. So you might hear that in there. So they lived through Civil War. They met here in PCC, and, you know, they helped their kids thrive too and not live in that lack mindset and that fearful mindset. They did their best too. So this is a little bit of my story here. So. I'm floating now. From here on out, I've got to realize the power of learning to let go and just let God enjoy the ride. Born and raised in Southern California, but doesn't mean I haven't journeyed to other states of mind, consciousness, places I affiliate. Need to know what came before me to fully appreciate how my mom and dad Guanacos came here to immigrate. Lived through Civil War and came here escaping the hate. Yeah, they met in the States over the value of education. Both smart and on the pre-med track, but faced discrimination. Told their people aren't smart, can't give no dissertation. Prove them wrong by not consuming that narration. See, they broke the trajectory, not repeating the history. To the kids it was exemplary, growing up in victory. See, being at the top of the class in one country, then coming here working as a mater in a factory. See, that's gotta be a blow to find yourself so way down low. blow. But what you reap is what you sow. And like the phoenix, they arose from the ashes, took action again when things came crashing, when they separated. Think Mom from my eyes was the greatest. After that, she never dated. Instead, her kid she dedicated. Gave them tools, be creative, cause it's not just in schools, but at home you're to inspire. Learn to work hard, be persistent, the tools to rise high. That's why my sister, critical thinkers and artists and esquires. See, what you resist will persist. Mental shifts, believe in your gifts. Got a dream, plan for the future, check those goals off your list. Plant the seed, let it breed, and trust in what you feel, and seek success and action guaranteed, and so it is, let it go. I swam for miles only to realize the current is fighting against me, and I'm so tired, I'm floating now. From here on out, I've got to realize the power of learning to let go and just let God enjoy the ride. Swim good, enjoy the ride. Every time I rise, I thank God that I'm alive. Swim good, enjoy the ride. Every time I rise, I thank God that I'm alive. See, this is why you have to believe in the things that you do not always see. Call it God, the universe, or whatever you please. Yeah, it's working right inside us just to give us what we need. Swim good, enjoy the ride. Every time I rise, I thank God that I'm alive. Swim good, enjoy the ride. Every time I rise, I thank God. I've swam for miles only to realize the current is fighting against me, and I'm so tired, I'm floating now. From here on out, I've got to realize the power of learning to let go and just let God enjoy the ride.
Yes, yes. And now we know why angels play harps. Oh, so thank you, Jessica. That was wonderful. And now I'd like to ask Dee Dee to come on up, and she's going to tell us a little bit about prosperity in her life. So come on down, whichever way. We've got a microphone right there for you.
I'm going to stand at this one.
Yeah.
Thank you. So about 5 minutes ago, Rev Scott said, would you be willing? And I said, well, God can do it, so let's do it. So I'm just setting all of that aside, and kind of the prompts that I was given is, how long have I been coming to Ahiah? And it's about 29 years.
Yeah.
And Reverend Charles Rose was the minister that married my husband and me. And so we did a lot of work in the bookstore, and that was where I first learned how to input all of the music that speaks to my nervous system and kind of blows out all of the barriers and the cobwebs, and it gets me into, resonating on that energy that feeds me and helps me to stay out of self and stay out of my mind. So I found this place at about 5 years sober. I had been working on, a 12-step recovery for about 5 years, and I needed to go deeper. And I was told to go find your spiritual home. And I was checking out environments, and I found my way to pastoring a church of religious science, and I went, whoa, this is a philosophy that overlays every other belief system I have. It works so well in who I am as a person, and that it's all one, and there's one God, and that there's nothing outside of that really fit for me tremendously. And so my appreciation for Ahiah comes from that my core belief system through the majority of my life has been from this philosophy, and from that philosophy of affirmative thought and affirmative prayer. And that when I keep that going, that's where the magnificent comes, and the growth comes, and the prosperity. And I look around me, and the more I focus on the good and the healthy and the vibrant and the loving and the miraculous stuff that we can see when we're really looking for it. I look for God and I find God, and I look for God and I see mind-blowing examples, and I love that. And I think that's so much a part of what Ahiah has helped me to do, is to remember to stay in affirmation and pulling into my life the things that feed me and keep me planting the seeds that grow into a magnificent existence and a magnificent love. And so I'll never forget that Easter, right before Easter, I came running in here because I had a kid with addiction, and I came running in, and we sat in that room and we prayed, and I knew once again that my roots here were what was going to save my mother's heart, and the magnificence of that is right out in that patio, 3 years sober. But I just want to say thank you for all.
Thank you, Dee Dee. So, for 5 minutes notice, that's pretty darn good, don't you think? And the thing is when we just open our heart and we look inside our heart and we say, where is my prosperity coming from? Where am I supported in life? How do I move forward in such a loving way? The answers are already right here. They're just already here. We already know them. And sometimes we forget. But I'm really happy, Dee Dee, that you remembered. It makes for a better story, right? So we're in our second week of our prosperity series, which each year we call it the same thing. We call it Awakening Abundant Living, because that name reminds us that abundance and prosperity are already the truth of us, but sometimes we have to wake up to it. Sometimes we have to remember that it's true for us, and it's always been true for us, and we need to wake up to remind ourselves of that. And each year we have a different theme, and this year's theme is tending our tree of life. And so we have trees of life here, and you might not have noticed, but our tree of life is now growing out of the walls, and it's also started to flower, and we have a heart. And the thing is those got added as we started to remember, as we started to awaken to our own prosperity, as we do things like Dee Dee just did, of reminding ourselves of what has always been and already been true of ourselves, then our tree of life starts to flower. And I want to say thank you to Gabriel, who has done this magnificent artwork for us. He's back there somewhere, I'm not sure. So, money is one aspect of prosperity, but it's not the only aspect. But if you ask the average Joe or the average Jane out in the world, and you ask them what is prosperity, they are very likely to start talking to you about money. and how much money they do or don't have in their bank accounts, and how much money they are making or not making at their job. And that tends to be the idea of prosperity. But, money is not all there is to prosperity. There's so much more to our prosperity than the money. It would be kind of like having a marriage or a romantic, situation with another person and saying, well, the only thing that's really important to me about that is the sex that we have. If that was true, if that was what somebody said, I think I would probably, look somewhere else for a romantic engagement. Because there's so much more to a romantic engagement. There's things like sharing. There's things like support. There's things like caring. And all of the things together is important to that loving relationship. No one thing is ever going to be all that it needs to be. And that's what is true about prosperity also. It's true of our prosperity of our tree of life. There's many different leaves, there's many different flowers on it. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask you, what does prosperity mean to you? What does it mean? Deep down inside, what does prosperity mean? And a couple of examples would be, the ability to live is prosperity to me. And the ability to give is prosperity to me. But now I'd like to ask you guys, why don't you just shout out a few things? I will repeat so our folks at home can hear it, because otherwise, if it doesn't go through a microphone, they can't hear. So what do I hear from you guys? What does prosperity mean to you?
No worries.
No worries. Yeah, no worries is a great one.
Inner peace.
Inner peace is prosperity, isn't it? Yeah.
Joy.
Joy and health are prosperity. Yeah. Happiness. Yeah.
Happy.
I'm sorry, and family. Family can be prosperity for sure. Yeah. Balance, was that the word? Mm-hmm. Yeah, balance. If I'm balanced in life, I'm prosperous.
Ability to receive love.
Ability to receive love, yeah. We're all able to receive love, but sometimes, naturally and intrinsically, but sometimes we block it off, don't we? So being able to really receive all the love that's given to us is prosperous to us. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Any other ideas? Freedom of movement is prosperity, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I want to give you a statement that I've been using for a couple of decades now. I didn't make this one up. I actually got it from my minister from 20 years ago, but I have kept a hold of it because it's meant so much to me. It just says, moving forward with joy, confidence, and ease. And if I'm able to move forward, that moving forward piece is important to me because nobody wants to be moving backwards. Sometimes we do, but we don't want to. And stagnation is the beginning of death, folks. Really. We don't want to be stagnant in our lives. So we want to be moving forward. And how do we want to move forward? With joy. Having the ability to keep moving forward and doing it with joy and with comfort, knowing that everything is taken care of, and ease. I don't have to work hard in order to move forward. Spirit is just helping me. It's pushing me along, moving forward with joy, confidence, and ease. If I can do that, then I know that I am prosperous. So this week, our talk title is Cultivating Our Tree of Life. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, what exactly is the definition of cultivation? What does it mean to cultivate? So I went to the dictionary, and I've got it showing on our screen there a couple of definitions from the dictionary. One of them is more about plants, and one of them is more about our own personal nature of cultivation. And so the first one is about the plants, and it says to prepare and use land for crops or gardening. And then the one about our personal nature, it says try to acquire or develop a quality, sentiment, or skill. And so I want to talk about how these two things are linked together, because I really do think how we plant our plants and how we cultivate our plants is very similar in nature, metaphorically anyway, to how we cultivate a new quality or one that we've been working on for a while. And so I'm not much of a gardener, to be honest. I don't have a brown thumb, but it's not exactly brilliant green either. But I do know a few things about plants. I know one thing for sure. I know that plants need the sun, right? That plants, what they do is they take this emanation from the sun, which is the light from the sun, the warmth from the sun. They take that light and they convert it into life, don't they? Because everything on this planet either is a plant using this life that's been converted from the sun, or it's an animal that eats a plant, or an animal that eats an animal that eats a plant, right? So somehow everything in this world, all life in this world is supported by this sun, by our plants that are taking this energy and converting it into life. And so the thing is, then, we know this is a truth. Plants don't grow in the dark, right? They just don't. You take a plant, you plant it, take a seed, put it in some soil, water it, it's nice and happy, it sprouts, and if you just leave it in the dark, it's going to die. And when we cultivate ideas and qualities for ourselves, what they need is they need the sun, metaphorically, right? The sun. They need the aspect of spirit that supports that quality. And so if you are trying to plant love, you want to experience more love in your life, then what you need is you need to have the love that spirit is moving through you and as you to support that seed that you just planted about love. And we normally, our natural essence is always just to say yes. It's always just to receive in all that Spirit is, but sometimes we don't. And so it's our job in life to receive what Spirit has always been giving us. Right? Ernest Holmes says that Spirit pours all of itself into us, and we get to keep what we're willing to receive. And so it's our job then to take this love and to receive it and to shine it down on this plant, this seed that we've planted for love, the quality that we want. Brene Brown, she says, until we can receive with an open heart, we're never really giving with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. And what that's saying is that in this way that we receive, we also give. And that there is this cycle of giving and receiving and therefore giving. And it's a natural flow of life. It's a natural way that we create and that we live within this life that Spirit is. Because that's the way Spirit works. Spirit creates and gives and receives back from us too. And so this cycle of love is also the truth of prosperity. Right? As for love, as we give, we receive. If we give with an open heart, if we give our love with an open heart, then we receive it back with an open heart. If we receive love with judgment, then we give it with judgment. And the same is true of our prosperity. If we constantly are judging the way our good is coming in, then we give from a place of judgment also. So we need to shine that light that God is, the sun, that Spirit is, and the love and the peace and the joy on these seeds that we plant, whatever we're trying to cultivate in ourselves, in as our tree of life. So the second thing I know about plants is that, if you don't clear away the weeds, it's not the plant's not going to live either. Can you imagine taking a seed for a tomato and planting it, going out into a big weed patch, right? And then going down and not disturbing the weeds, as much as you can. Just reach down there and get a little place to put that seed and put the seed in and cover it over. What do you think is going to happen? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. Because what weeds do is they take away the nutrient and the light. Here's a definition for weeds. It says, a wild plant growing where it is not wanted and in competition with cultivated plants. So what would be, if that's what happens to a plant, you try and plant it in among the weeds, you get nothing. What happens if we try to plant our seed of love, or peace, or joy, or prosperity in our garden that's growing nothing but weeds? What's going to happen? Just like the plants, the weeds in our mind are going to take all the light, that light that we said we needed, right? Anything that we have, that we are receiving, that we're allowing ourselves to receive, instead of it going down on our nice little tomato plant, the weeds are going to suck it all up. And all the nutrients and water and everything that the plant needs, that little seedling that we want to grow needs, sorry, the weeds have it all. So we need to get rid of a few weeds, don't we? Well, what are the weeds that we need to be digging up? Right? We need to dig up. We need to actually get in there, do a little bit of work in our spiritual garden. But what are these weeds? Well, they're the beliefs that are opposite or opposing to the ideas that we want. If we are looking for love, then they're the limiting belief that says we're unlovable. If we're looking for prosperity, then it's the limiting beliefs that tell us, nobody's going to pay me for this. Nobody wants what I have. I'm not good enough for that job. I'm not good enough to receive all those things. Remember those words you guys spit out at me? Right? I'm not good enough to receive and have the health that I want for my prosperity. I'm not good enough to receive all that God is pouring through me all the time. That's the beliefs that are the weeds that we need to get rid of. Now, You know, these limiting beliefs, one way to think about them is they are the absolute opposite of what we want. So if we want love, the opposite of love is hate. And if we want peace, the opposite of peace is war. And if we want abundance, the opposite of abundance is lack. And so in our heart, just think about your heart for a second. Not your mind, because your mind can spin around many, many, many things, right? But your heart, I don't believe your heart can be enwrapped around hate and peace at the same, and love at the same time. I think we do go back and forth a lot, you know, but it doesn't happen at the same time. And so we need to look at these limiting beliefs that we have and change them out. And what do we want to do, or what do we do with them? Well, you know, we actually can pull them up by the roots. It's okay. But here's the deal. When we try and pull up this old limiting belief that is no longer serving us anymore, you got to actually plant a new seed there. You have to plant something in its place, because otherwise the weeds that are around there, they're just going to propagate. They'll just fill in the hole that you just made for your own thing, you know, for your own seedling. And so we take away what we don't believe, and we fill it in with what we do believe. And there's a couple of things that you can do in order to fill in those voids. Prayers, affirmations. These are things that we do over and over again. Maybe, sometimes all it takes is once, but sometimes it takes multiples of these to remind us constantly of the truth. And so we have mechanisms. We teach them here. And we have practitioners here that are happy to pray with us, with any of you guys. And all they do is they know the truth for you. They know that you are already the capital L love that God is. So, I want to ask a question. What do you need to dig out? What is it that's in your mind right now that needs to go away?
Not good enough.
Not good enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make enough money.
I don't make enough money. Lingering resentment. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's insidious. That one really is. Yeah, because it pops out. You forget that you have it, but it pops out all over the place. Thank you. Distractions, yeah. You know, the little golden squirrel that just ran off in the corner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Low self-esteem. Imposter syndrome. That's a good one. You know, that's the one where everybody eventually is going to discover that I'm not good enough, right? Yeah.
I don't have the degree, so I'm not worthy.
I don't have the degree, so I'm not worthy. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much that's sitting there right under the surface. Remember that 10% or less of what we think we're actually conscious of at any particular moment. All the rest of it is like that iceberg. You know, it's the ice down low, and we forget about it. We're not aware of it, because otherwise it'd be up in the top 10%, right? It's just all the stuff. It's the tapes. I call them 8-track tapes because they're so old, right? You know, but I still got that 8-track tape player, don't I? You know, just something happens, it reminds me of the day, and I just pop in that tape, and away I go. Yeah. Yeah, it works all the time. And somehow I wish I could break my 8-track tape player, but, you know, I bang it up every once in a while, it still keeps playing. But, these are the things. These are the things, and they're individual for each one of us because they are a response to our experience, our life. And it goes all the way back to our childhood and beyond. I'll be teaching the Enneagram in December. And one of the things that this is, one of the great things about the Enneagram is it talks about our motivations. It talks about why we are the way we are. Did you ever wonder? I know I have. So join me. First 2 Sundays in December, we'll be teaching the Enneagram, and then we'll go on in the new year. We'll come back to it again. So the third thing that I know about plants is very basic, right? If I don't plant the seed, I don't get a tomato. As basic as that. And so I just have to remember. I have to remember that I have to plant the seeds. If my life is not looking the way I want it to look right now, rather than turning off, rather than ignoring it, rather than going, I just don't want to face it right now. I don't want to think about it. I'm too tired. I'm too sick. I'm too hurt. I don't want to look at it right now. Rather than doing that, I'm not talking about moping, right? I'm not talking about digging into it to the point where I just, find myself, a deeper and deeper hole. I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about is figuring out, okay, this is what's showing up in my life. I don't even have to know why. It's good to know why. I like knowing why, but I don't have to know why. I just have to recognize what it is and then say, what is the opposite of that? If I'm experiencing lack and limitations in my life, then abundance and prosperity is what I want to know. If I'm not feeling like I'm lovable, well, love. Love is what I want to look at. That's the seed I want to plant. If everything in my life brings me to this place of, then peace. Peace is what I want to know in my life. And if I'm feeling depressed, then joy. Joy is what I want to know. I don't need to know these things I don't need to remember convoluted things and quotes and all of that. It's nice if it works for me, but all I really need to know is that I want more love in my life. And so I'm going to plant this seed of love in my life, and I'm going to accept and receive what Spirit brings to me because I know when I planted that seed that it had effect. That's what I would need to know. That's what I want to remember. I want to remember to receive what Spirit is giving me and has always been giving me. And so these individualized expressions of the divine that we are, we just need to open up. We need to open up wide to receive. And so I have an affirmation for you. It's just a general statement. It's showing up here on our screen. I'm going to ask you to read it along with me. I am receiving all that Spirit gives. Let's say that again. I am receiving all that Spirit gives. Because when I remember that, I remember that I am divine. That I am the life that God is, that Spirit is moving through me and as me. And so as you go out into your week this week, I'd like you to remember and to think about a few things. One is, how do you define prosperity? I've got my definition of prosperity up there again, right? It's moving forward with joy, confidence, and ease. But that works for me. What is it that works for you? What's your definition of prosperity? If you want this one, it's not really mine. I'm happy to give it to you. But if it doesn't work for you, if this is not quite what works for you, then come up with your own. And then, how are you receiving Spirit's light? Remember the plant that we're, the seed that we're planting, the plant that's going to grow from that. It needs the love and the peace and the joy and the abundance and prosperity that God is. And so I have to receive it. So allow yourself to know that that's good, that you are good. And what weeds do you need to dig up? What are those old beliefs? What are those limiting thoughts that you've been having that are, maybe you're not even thinking them, but they're down below? What are those? Go ahead and dig one up, look at the roots and throw it away. And replace it with something that is better for you, something that works better in your life. And then, last of all, what are you planting? What seed are you going to plant? Because you don't get a tomato if you don't plant a tomato. So plant something that you like. Plant something that you want in your life. And as always, sometimes all of this can be a little confusing, and it's okay. Because all you have to do is just let Spirit guide you. Thank you, and namaste. And so Chris is going to play, and I'm going to pray. And we're just going to anchor these ideas in with a little bit of prayer, a little bit of knowing the absolute truth. And the absolute truth that I know always is that there is only one life, one power, one presence, this life that we call the divine spirit, Allah, God. It doesn't matter what we name it. There is only one. It's the one life that we all share. It's the one life that emanates all of the love and the peace and the joy. It is the creator. It is creative. It is creating into each and every one of our lives in this moment and in the next moment and in the next moment, this life that is divine. It creates out of itself, out of the love and the peace and the joy that it is. And so I'm knowing absolutely that I am and you are exactly what Spirit is. There's no difference. There's no separation. It is you and I and all life. It is all this one life of the Creator. We share the one mind that Spirit is. And so we are exactly the love and the peace and the joy and the abundance that God is. It moves through us and as us with ease and with grace. We can never be separated from it. There is no other thing besides Spirit in this life, in this world, in this universe. And so it's from that place of knowingness that I speak my word as the truth of you, as the truth of me, as the truth of all life, knowing that this knowingness, this absolute fixation on the truth that I have in this moment right now, it creates. It plants a seed that then creates and moves into our lives, moves through our lives as abundance, as love, as prosperity, as joy, as health and wealth and absolute goodness. And so as we allow that by just saying yes, just like Spirit says yes to us, we are the exact same as Spirit. We just say yes to receive all that God's good is that's flowing into our life. And we say yes from that place of knowing absolutely that we are good enough. That we get to move through our life with joy, with confidence, with ease, because Spirit supports us in that. For knowing these truths right here, right now, I just give thanks. And I say life and God are good and very good. together we say. And so it is. Amen and amen. Thank you for praying with me. And so now is the time for our conscious contributions. If you're here in the sanctuary right now, we have offering envelopes that you can put your offering into. And for those of you who are online right now, we have 3 ways to do our conscious contributions. And maybe you've already signed up for auto tithing, but that's okay. If you haven't, you can do a donation at ahiah.com/donate, or you can text to give by texting the word give to this number, 616-229-2225, and it will send you back a request for your credit card information. You put that in, tell it how much you want to give, and zip, there it is. Or you can always send a check in. So many folks send checks, and it's really nice because they put little love notes in there for me. So thank you for your checks in the mail, but also thank you for the love notes that buoy me up in the middle of the week. And so however you do that, let's go ahead and hold our virtual gift to our heart and say our blessing here. It's showing on our screen. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to go ahead and ask Jessica to come up. She's going to do our second song. And then we have a bunch of kids that should be coming in any moment now.
Well, thank you for that. So this next song that I want to do is it's an original song I wrote, but it reminds me too of everything we just talked about. And we have to kind of check our garden, check to see what we're planting, and it's okay to take things out. It's okay to figure out how you want your garden to look. You know, when I worked with my therapist, she was telling me, Jessica, you're planting too much. She's like, sometimes I tell people they need to plant stuff with you. You got to take some things out, because I'm like, there's space here, there's space there, but then it doesn't allow room for growth. So, you know, I work on trimming things out of my life and allow for other things to grow and know that things have different seasons. So this song is called Figuring Out Me. Sometimes it could be, you know, relating to a relationship, or it could be with a significant other, family, it could be a job, it could be something that you identify with in the moment, but it's okay to trim the plants or cut it out, grow something new. So it's figuring out me. Used to be all about you, and now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. I said it used to be all about you, and now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. I said once upon a time, back in the day, I would just do what people would say. Was insecure, wasn't sure, didn't know how to shine the light inside so bright. So I looked to you 'cause I thought you knew everything and what was best for me. But now I realize that I was blind, 'cause all the answers are inside. It used to be all about you, now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. Yes, it used to be all about you, and now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. I used to ask my mom on a daily if I'm okay, look to others for reassurance 'cause I care what they say. See, I was looking outside, but now I'm realigned. Don't gotta sweat the small stuff. My eyes are open, I woke up, and I affirm I am enough. Used to be all about you. Now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. I said it used to be all about you. Now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. I thank God for taking you out of my life, putting an exit, let down, shame, strife. Now focus my attention on me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not pretentious. Please, my heart's been open up, mind soaking in new thought. But my head now, the former I forgot. Behold, I will do something new. Isaiah, La Bez, the Francis were crew. Whoa, the ride, it goes up, it goes down. Holding the mountain, collecting the crowns. I give gratitude, season amplitude. So if you feel like your life's in a rut, just stop observing, honey, make some cuts. It's all about you. Figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. I said it used to be all about you. Now I'm figuring out me. 'Cause before I used to please, compromise and being happy. Thank you.
All righty. Lovely song, and it fits exactly what we're talking about here. You know, normally this is the time for our kids to come up. I'm informed that the kids want us to come out to them today. So they're all out in the courtyard, and we're going to go out and we're going to join them. You know, I want to say thank you to the Board of Trustees, who is so supportive of our youth program. You know, they truly, truly are. And, you know, so they pay for Lisa, our youth director. They pay for everything that goes along with that. But they also need a little help around getting our youth, our teens in particular, to teen camp. And so one of the ways we ask the youth to raise some of the money for themselves. And so one of the ways they're doing that is they've got desserts out there that they're going to be selling to us today. They're going to have a recommended price on that. I'll probably be overpaying, you know, but it's okay because it goes for a good cause. It's going to send them to the winter camp this year. And we got lots of teens wanting to go to the winter camp, so we got to get some money to help them. And now I have a thing from, well, maybe, or give the young man time to get it up on the thing. We have an announcement from Nancy Johnson. Let's see. Let's try that again. There we go.
Good morning, Ahiah family. This is Nancy Johnson. And first, I'd like to thank everyone who is participating in the Fall Family Fun Festival potluck today. Thank you for your food donation and your support. And even if you're not staying, please consider buying a dessert or two to help the teens go to winter camp. My next announcement is about Thanksgiving. Can you believe it's less than a month away? The Friends Indeed Food Pantry needs everyone's help to satisfy the overwhelming number of food-challenged families right here in Pasadena and Altadena. Remember, these are our neighbors. The Pasadena JCs are donating turkeys, and I'd like us to help supply the side fixings, dressing mix, mashed potatoes, yams, canned vegetables, and pie filling. Last year, we collected fixings for about 30 plus families. Let's accept the challenge to help even more. Based on Friends Indeed's recent numbers, they are feeding over 400 families a week, and they need our support. There will be a container in the lobby for your donations, and there will be a shopping list in next week's newsletter. You can donate online, and I will do your shopping. As always, feel free to call me for assistance. Stay tuned for more details next week. Peace and blessings.
Thank you, Nancy. Nancy's out there. She's going to be helping with the food and everything today, so you can chat with her. Friends Indeed is how we support the greater Pasadena community around Ahiah. They truly are our friends and neighbors that live here that we're helping. So I want to remind you about mastermind meetings. These are groups that meet to discuss what we talked about here today in service, and to allow that to kind of seep in, and also allows you to ask questions and have discussions around them. And so this Sunday, normally we have one at Sunday at 12:30, but because we're having the picnic, the group decided last week to skip this Sunday, and we're going to add a Sunday on the end. So we're not meeting today, but we'll be meeting next week and others. And we also have times Monday at 1 o'clock, Thursday at 2, and Thursday at 7 o'clock. You can point your camera at the QR code that's right there, or you can go to our website, ahiah.com/prosperity, and you can sign up. And by signing up, you get the information on how to get to the website, and you get the mastermind papers also. We've talked about the Enneagram. I first heard it years ago as Enneagram, but it is actually pronounced Enneagram. And so I'll be doing an Enneagram workshop here December 4th and 11th after service. And it's a love offering class of $15. And you can hit the QR code that's showing up there right now, and that'll take you to the sign up if you want. And then I want to let you know that there is a kirtan playing this Thursday at Ebell Theater. This is just general knowledge for you guys if you're interested. I'm going to be going, so if you wanted to go, there's a QR code that gets you there. And here at Ahiah, we are having a rental, and it's right in line with what we do, so I told them I'd let you guys know about it. It's about healing, physical healing. They're going to be here on, make sure I get the date right, I got to see it, November 12th. Yeah, and that's a Saturday. And so they'll be here that Saturday night. We have some flyers sitting on that back table over by Harris. And so if you're interested, you can look at that on the back table. And I want to remind you that Science Mind magazine is a great magazine that comes out from Centers for Spiritual Living. We own it. And we put stuff in there that reminds us on a daily basis of the truth. And so go ahead and you can go to sciencemind.com/subscribe in order to subscribe. It's only $2.50 per issue. Can our practitioners that are here, can these guys stand up? We've got Chris, we got Reverend Mike, we have myself. I know that there's Myrna, I saw Marcia earlier. So there's a number of practitioners that are here. If you need anything, if there's anything on your heart and you want to pray, just grab one of us. Otherwise, you can go to ahiah.com/meet-our-practitioners in order to get information, contact information for our practitioners offline. We also have a online prayer where you go to ahiah.com/prayers and put in your prayer. It's only ever seen by the ministers and practitioners, and we will pray for you, and we have dial-a-prayer. And I hear lots of happy kids out there. I know there's food out there. And so let's go ahead and say our benediction and run out. And Reverend Mike has something to say.
Announcement. Our volunteers are asking if immediately after service, if you could step into the courtyard, grab a seat. We're going to bless the food right away, and then you can get up and dance and party and hug and everything. So thank you.
All right. Well, I'm hungry, so I'm going to be out there, getting out there and blessing and doing all sorts of stuff. So let's go ahead and say our benediction. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it, I am it, and I share it. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. It's so good having you here today. It's so good to be having food out on the courtyard, and I hope to see you either here or online next week. I love you guys. Thank you, and namaste. Let's go have something to eat, folks.